I guess we can't call him Bob, but maybe we could call him Robert Tractor Trailer. No, I guess we couldn't do that either. That's probably taken too, John. But fell all the way to 27, didn't elect to do the combine and workouts, etc. And there were some health concerns. I guess when we did the interview with Goodman, none of us were really keyed in on that, but that's some news that came out since then that people weren't necessarily all that excited about not having health information, and maybe there's a possible knee trouble that's lingering. He was a lottery pick projected last year, a lottery pick projected or just outside of the lottery projected this year. We get him all the way down to 27, and here's the beauty of a pick like this. Robert really fills a position in terms of a high flyer. He's a rim runner. He can go coast to coast. We've seen that. He can get above the rim, a fantastic dunker, soft hands. More importantly, could be that shot blocker or at least shot altering presence in the paint that the Celtics have really severely lacked. Even in 10 to 12 minutes a game, that could have a huge impact on sort of the dynamics of their rotations next season, John.
A lot there. Yeah, no, I think so. And one thing that came out of the, what's real, what do you want to be called? Bob is not what he's going by, right? So we know that. And then, but that's what Danny Ainge told Terry Rozier during the live stream on Bleacher Report, which is a whole nother conversation for probably later in the summer. But
no, we got to have that to some degree today too, because I mean, Terry just signed his ticket out of town, right? I mean, it's funny because the way everybody covered it is they really kind of dumbed it down and made it sort of a soft issue. I don't think that's a soft issue at all. I think that right there had the Celtics executive undies in a bunch for sure. I'll tell you what, that happened to me, and I was in his role as much of a nice, smiley guy I am. I'm pretty easygoing. I'd be fuming.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, Philly's on the clock, and we're gonna pick Bob Williams, and didn't even. Oh, it's not good. It's not good. But look, Terry, we love Terry. I'm not sure, at least publicly, we've seen any issue with what's going on with how that played out. So we'll see. I'm sure Terry will say something at some point about what sort of slap on the wrist he got, because that he's an open book.
Oh, he's gonna get one for sure.
I would think so. So yeah, I mean, going back to Boo Butt, as apparently that's his nickname, and I think I trust.
Let's not roll with that.
Let's not. Yes, that's what I'm trusting Celtics Twitter to kind of fix that, particularly weird Celtics Twitter, to fix that, the error of that, because Boo Butt is just that's not gonna go. That's not gonna fly.
If he shows up to training camp trying to pull off Boo Butt, do you know what the vets on this team are going to do to him? Dude, it's going to be, even Tatum is going to just snack on that. He's going to have such a heyday with making fun of that nickname. He's got to come up with something else. It's a no-go.
Look at how Isaiah is still going at Jaylen Brown's hair on Instagram all these years. We got 2 years since the guy's been picked, and he's still going after Jaylen's hair. It's never going to end, probably. Yeah, even if we find another one, they're never going to end with Boo Butt. That one's here to stay, I think. At least in terms of being picked on. But in terms of the player, in terms of the player, though, like, it's interesting. Like, has Brad Stevens ever had a guy like this? I mean, you go back to Butler. Can you think? I mean, I'm not an expert on Butler basketball in the last 15, 20 years, but I can't imagine they had too many guys like Robert Williams on that team. And even the Celtics. I mean, you go back. Tony Battie. I mean, that's kind of rim running, big, but not in the Brad Stevens era.
Maybe Parrish is the closest thing to most recency. I mean, but seriously, it's been that long, and even then, that comparison is not really a very strong one. It's just you got some of the length, and Parrish could get up and down the floor. But was he the shot blocker that Robert Williams projects to be?
Right. I mean,
it's really hard. Maybe it's Cowens. Maybe it's Cowens.
I don't know. It's tough. Like, I think the one that I would say that maybe fits in that is Brandon Wright. When Brandon Wright came here for about 5 days,
that doesn't count. That's you got to. It doesn't count. You got to have some tenure. You got to at least
right.
half.
And it seemed like, well, they got rid of him because he wasn't fitting in. So, look, that was a weird
Tyler Zeller?
season.
It's probably Tyler Zeller.
Athleticism, Tyler Zeller.
He got up and down the floor, but again, the shot blocking, dude, it's crazy. The only thing is we're like worried about his head too, right? So we get the knee thing, but then, and I love the way Scott Souza kind of laid this out for everybody. But he's like, look, very curious. He winds up being late, or he's a no-show for his phone interview with the press.
Right.
Then they reschedule it. He comes on and he's essentially unintelligible. So, I'm gonna draw my own conclusions and say he's a little bit of a party animal. And based on some of the off-court stuff that was going on at Texas A&M last year, that certainly could point in that direction too. But also, let's take out another piece, because you don't always get everything detail by detail from the press because they can't necessarily validate it, et cetera. But what did Goodman say on the draft night show? He said what they need to do is put his locker right next to Al Horford. So that's probably a no surprise. It's going to be one of those scenarios. He's got all the talent in the world. Can he get it right? Can he be the professional that he needs to be? There is no better culture, as everybody has said over and over, than the Celtics culture for him. And it's a high risk, high reward type of scenario.
It is. And, one thing that we didn't know at that time and has been reported a little bit more in the press is that he fired his agent. I want to say Robert Williams, but Booba is just sticking. I got to be honest with you.
Stop it.
I got to stop right now. But Rob's got, he fired his agents, brought in Bill Duffy, who is a longtime NBA agent, someone represented Rajon Rondo. So obviously there's some relationship there with Boston. I think very good relationship. Things worked pretty well with Rondo, and despite the fact he was quite a contentious sort, and we all know those things, they seem to work out pretty well with Duffy and Rondo, and I don't think there were any sort of issues lingering there, which is a good sign. Certainly, you need a full court press effectively on all sides helping that. And as you said, as Goodman said, I should say, yes, it's coach, it's GM, it's veteran leadership. It's your agent. It's having the guys who you're listening to who aren't part of the organization reinforcing that. And so let's hope that when we're moving into here this season, that he's getting that reinforcement all around to say, look, this is the straight and narrow. And the good thing is he provides something nobody else on the team does. The bad sign is the Celtics have not had someone who he doesn't fit into a mold which they can say, oh, this is what we need, just go do this and it will be successful. It's introducing kind of a new element to things.